All right, in this video, you're going to learn why your sales are random, why ads, social media posts, and even cute branding is actually killing your business. And I'll give you the exact system to get your current customers buying more and bringing their friends to you predictably so you can stop stressing about sales. And a little bit about me is I built a local boutique from random $2,000 months to consistent 20 plus K months. And we did it without a bunch of ad spend or even going viral on social media. And here's what we will cover in this video. Why chasing more customers is actually the main reason why you're not getting sales. The 4-step system I use to help businesses turn their current customers into a marketing machine, and how to identify exactly why your current customers aren't already selling your business for you. So if you're blowing all your profit on ads just to get customers, maybe hoping your post is the one that gets you a bunch of sales, maybe feel like every time you ask for reviews or referrals, you're just talking to an empty room, or running discounts just to make money, then your issue isn't in getting customers. The problem is that your business isn't built to keep them coming back. And I want you to think about it like this. So imagine you have a bucket and you're trying to fill that bucket with water. And you're pouring water into it, and you keep pouring and keep pouring and keep pouring, and it seems like no matter what you do, the water level isn't rising. But then you notice, oh wait, there are holes in the bucket. All the water is leaking out just as fast as you're pouring it in. And this is what is happening in your business. And here's the thing, it's not your fault. It's actually normal. And here's what happens when people learn this, okay? They do one of two things. One, a lot of people just try to get a new bucket. And they try to look for a new bucket. They think, oh, maybe if I start selling this product, maybe I start doing this opportunity, maybe I should join this MLM or whatever it is. Maybe it was this. The bucket's the problem. But they don't realize is that all new buckets always have leaks. Businesses are never perfect to start. It takes consistent small improvements to keep making them better. There is also a second thing that happens, and it's what I'm going to guess is what you're experiencing right now. And that is, again, it's not your fault, okay? This is not your fault, because so much of what we hear, especially online, is you should hustle more. You should be posting more volume. You need to be getting more customers. Get more people in. You got to get more eyeballs on what you're doing. It's all about attention. And that is kind of true. But if we go back to our little bucket story, that would be like saying that just pour more water into the bucket even though it has the holes. And you'll know you're here because it'll feel like you're running on a treadmill. And so at this point, I'm guessing you're probably thinking, okay, well, I can fix the holes. And you probably have already tried this. And that's exactly your problem. Fixing the holes takes energy, it takes diligence, it takes commitment. And if all your focus is on getting the new customers, right, there's no time and energy left in the day to fix the few things that you need to do to keep them, let alone if you know which ones they actually are. So before we go into the 3 main areas where you could be leaking customers and how to know which ones to fix first, I want you to imagine just for a second how you're currently getting customers. And I want you to think about what would happen in your business if 1 out of every 10 bought twice and brought in 2 more customers. So I want you to think about what you're currently doing. And think about this. So here's my question. If that were the case, 1 customer out of 10 bought twice and brought in 2 new customers, how much more money would you make each month with the same amount of work to get customers? So I want to show you what this looks like in actual dollars for my logical friends here. Imagine you have a $50 order, like average order, and 10 orders come in a week. That'd be $500 a week, $2,000 a month. Simple math. But imagine this new scenario where you have 1 out of 10 brings in 2 customers and they buy twice. So this math starts to change, and the first week it's not amazing. So you have your 10, 1 orders twice and brings in 2 people. That first week you would only make $650. Now the second week is the same thing. Nothing really different is happening. You have the work to get 10 people. 1 is a second order, has 2 orders twice and refers 2 people. Again, you make just $650 that week. Nothing special. But here's where things start to change. Is by week 3, now you're still doing just the work to get 10, but now 2 people buy twice and 4 referred. So now week 3, on the same amount of work, you've made $800. And this is where things get really interesting, because then in week 4, now that you've had these 2 people that were referred the first week, the 2 people that were referred the second week, the 4 people referred the third week, and then all these second orders, they're all coming in. It's starting to stack up. So on week 4, you get 10 customers that you'd put the work in to get, but 3 customers buy twice and 6 are referred. So week 4, you make $950. So instead of the first scenario where you'll only make 40 orders in a month and make $2,000 that month, this second scenario, you make 61 orders doing the same amount of work and make $3,050 that month. 50% increase in revenue with the same amount of work trying to get customers. And so the problem isn't getting customers, it's keeping them around. So then how do you do that? And that's what we're going to talk about next, is what I call the referral first growth method. And this is a stupid simple method for turning your best customers into your marketing team. It's exactly how we grew our boutique so fast without giving all our money to Zuckerberg. So it's only 4 simple steps. Step 1 is get. This is where you promise. Step 2 is help profitably. This is where you deliver on that promise. Step 3 is keep. This is where you connect with people who you've delivered to. And 4 is grow. And this is where you improve those 3 things. So you do this, you will build a business that changes your life. If you can do these 4 things right and consistently and then keep doing them, you will build a business that changes your life. Now let's get into what each one of these actually means. So get, and I know we just talked about how it's not about getting customers, but it's a shift in mindset here. So the mindset shift is from how do I get customers to how do I get customers who buy and bring friends. This requires us to kind of ask a few different kinds of questions. And the 2 main questions that we need to ask here is, so then if that's my goal, why is it that people buy multiple times? Understanding why people buy multiple times, and then why would they bring their friends? You get multiple purchases by solving a problem, and not just the real world problem, the tangible problem, the thing they can feel, touch, taste, smell, whatever, but the emotional problem underneath, their identity problem. And then to get customers to bring their friends, you give them an experience that they want to talk about. If you do these 2 things, you get customers who have a story to tell about your business, and that story is how you get customers through word of mouth. So your job isn't to get more customers, your job is to get people to tell stories that have endings other people also want to have. So in our boutique, as an example, our product was selling plus size clothes. That was the product that we were selling. But we weren't actually selling clothes. What we were selling was confidence. Specifically, we're selling the experience for these women to look in the mirror, often for the very first time in their life, and feel confident in their own skin. And so that became our promise. Not because we said it explicitly, but just because of the way that we operated is, if you shop with us, you'll feel confidence you've never had. And so people might see the outfit, but they don't really want the outfit. They want what they hope the outfit will give them. In our situation, it was confidence to feel cute, to feel sexy, beautiful. And that's the first step here for you, is you have to understand what your promise is. And next is help, and specifically help profitably. So here it's all about making sure you're actually delivering the experience that you've promised. Not just the product, but making sure the entire experience is brag-worthy. It forces us to think, okay, how are you actually solving the problems? Both the tangible one, the one that's the real world one, and the emotional one, the one that someone feels at an identity level. Then you also have to make sure that people know what to expect from your business, how long things take, what the return policy is, those kinds of things. Then you have to ask, where can I do more than is expected? How can I make the experience even better? In our situation is if you're selling confidence, what are other ways you can make them feel confident? Then you actually have to ask the bigger question is, how do you make all of this profitable? Because if you don't make it profitable, well, you don't really have a business, actually, not for a long term. And then how can you make every customer have the same brag-worthy experience? Which means you have to build systems that helps to create the same kind of experience. And this is all about processes, your team, your customer service. Are you tracking referrals? Are you tracking your leads coming in? Are you creating a repeatable process? Are you using software, automation? Are you delegating to your people well? This is where the daily operation of the business can actually kill that second purchase, have people not referring, and even get you bad reviews. These don't have to be complex though. I want to make sure to stress this, is we didn't have like this complex system. It's very simple. It felt more like a ragtag team of pirates trying to sell clothes. But the customer experience was good enough that people wanted to talk about it. And you can get better at creating the process, but you have to deliver on the experience. That you can't skimp on. So we kept all of our live sales on the similar days. We were clear on shipping times and return policies. We had process for packaging and staging products, and none of it was complicated again, but we had a process. And that brings me to the third part, which is keep. And this is about keeping the customers that you have and having them bring their friends. Now, that you've delivered on the process, they should have a story to tell about their experience. Now you connect to them through that story, and you connect these people who have these similar stories to each other. And that's how you create a community around what you do. This is why this referral first growth method is so much more effective than like your typical referral program, even though it's actually not that super complicated to do. How do you do this? First, you have to show that you care. And it's not about making the sale, but that you care about the thing that you're saving them from. The reality, the life, the thing that you're saving them from. You care about their current situation. For us, we were showing that women who were plus size could be beautiful too. A community of women supporting each other and growing in that confidence. They knew that even on their lowest day, they could come into the community that we had created and know someone else had lived that story too. So they didn't have to feel alone. And that's the thing here, is you're creating something where people don't have to feel alone in the pain that you've saved them from. That's how you build that loyal following of engaged customers. You don't ask for the referral. At this point now, you ask for the story, and you ask them to tell someone else who also needs to hear that story. Now we're going to talk about the fourth part of this method, which is grow. And this is where you improve. Like I said, early business isn't built perfect overnight. Understanding your customer takes time. Getting the sales right, it takes time. The product page right, it takes time. Building the community takes effort and consistency. Writing down the process is messy at first, and then it slowly gets better. Here's the issue. You can easily start fixing holes in the bucket, but which of the holes do you fix first? You want to fix the right hole first so you can keep water in the bucket. And you've probably tried to fix holes before. Tried different platforms, tried different branding, changed the website. Unless you know that first hole to fix, you'll be making progress but will never actually see results. Working harder and longer, fixing and tweaking leaks while the one that can get you results continues to drain you. From my experience working with business across all sorts of industries and different backgrounds, you could have 3 different businesses all making about the same revenue and could be leaking customers for different reasons. One might struggle with get, one might struggle with help, one might struggle with keep, and so that's why I created the Referral First Scorecard. It shows you across all 4 areas where your best potential for growth lies. And it gives you ways to fix that exact issue. So instead of guessing, you get clarity. And here's the best part. I'm giving it away all for free because I know what it's like to be in your shoes. See, I've packaged orders at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night after Black Friday. And I didn't know how the next sale was going to be coming in. And I've posted the video that got 0 views, hoping that it would make sales. And I know that you don't need a course. You need an answer. So get an answer. Just comment scorecard and I'll send it to you. I can't wait to see you in the next video.